Welcome to this very special edition of the KJ Masterclass Live, the show which ensures that you profit from your time spent here with experts, either through their industry insights, information, or simply learning from them. And today we have Terry L. Fossum. He is a best-selling author on Wall Street Journal, a survival reality show winner, a highly successful businessman reaching the top 1% in his entire industry. He is many more things. Former executive officer in the US Air Force, global adventurer, black belt, award-winning actor and producer, a host, a philanthropist, and soon to be published TEDx talk. Welcome to the show, Terry.
Hey, Jay, I'm so excited to be here. Appreciate you having me.
You are welcome to the show, Terry. You are welcome to India in this online form. And I'm sure not just in India, but a lot of people will benefit from what we are going to talk about. We'll talk about goal setting. We'll talk about success. So my first question to you is to understand, Terry, why is it just New Year? Many people had made their resolutions and the statistics say around 92% fail. Why is it that only 8% succeed in New Year resolutions and 92% fail? Does it also translate to other goals of our life? Is the percentage that high even in other aspects of our lives? Help us understand first about these 92% who fail at New Year resolutions.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was one of them. I don't want to come across as sounding too cool. I failed and failed and failed until I finally succeeded. But here's the problem, AJ. Most of what we've been taught about goal setting is either incomplete or just plain wrong. And this is things that we've heard came from Harvard University and all these other things. We've seen them in the books. We've seen them in seminars and YouTube and everywhere else, but they're just wrong. And that's why so many of us have failed. And it's in all aspects of our life. We think about goal setting. We think about business goals. Well, guess what? Marriage is a goal also, or at least it should be. Weight loss goals, that's a big New Year's resolution one. And most people fail. But here's why. We've been taught that to reach a goal, the first thing you do is positive visualization, right? You know what I'm talking about, AJ? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, we've been taught, just think about how great it's going to be when we reach our goal. We've even been taught to put up goal boards, pictures of how wonderful it's going to be, our big house and our nice car and all that kind of stuff. Well, that's great. It's important, but it's not enough, or more people would reach their goals. But here's why. Something called prospect theory, which won the Nobel Prize when it was applied to economics, taught us that oftentimes people will do more to get away from pain than go towards pleasure. Let me say that again. A lot of times people will do more to get away from pain than towards pleasure. Now, I use this example. I do a lot of stuff in the wilderness in different parts of the world. And I will tell you that I can run faster running away from a grizzly bear than chasing it. How do I know? Because I've done it. And that's because I might want to go towards that bear to get a really good photograph, something like that, and I'll run so fast to go after him. But when that sucker's coming after you, you're out of there. We'll run faster from pain than pleasure. So when we put up these dream boards, these positive visualizations, that's positive. That's great. We want to go towards it. But we want to go away from pain more. What is pain? Getting outside of our comfort zone, right? You know what I'm talking about, AJ? You with me here?
Yes, of course, perfectly.
Yeah. Right. Getting outside of our comfort zone is painful. We don't like that. We want to go back into our comfort zone again. So we'll do whatever it takes to go back in there. And we don't care about those positive visualizations as much as getting away from that fear, getting away from those self-doubts, those things that hold us back. So right. My question then was, okay, what can I do? And let me give you a little background to my story and how this came about. Now, a lot of times people think when they think of the U.S., land of opportunity, and it is. It's fantastic, but not everybody's wealthy here, man. In fact, I was raised in literally the poorest city in the entire United States of America. The poorest city. And AJ, you've probably even seen my hometown on the news. Because if you've seen anything about the border crossings from Mexico to Texas, Mexico to the United States, they show footage of all of the folks coming across, the drugs they show down there, the cartels, all of that. That's my hometown. So, and don't get me wrong, I love my hometown, but it can be a little rough growing up there sometimes with all the gangs and the drugs. In fact, I was on the wrong end of an assault rifle, AJ, in my own back alley in junior high and middle school at about age 14. Wrong end of an assault rifle, staring right down the barrel, wondering if my next breath would be my last. That's when I was in junior high. When I was in high school, my dad, was killed. But before he died, one of the neighbors came up to him and said, I just want to make sure you understand something. Those 3 boys of yours, your 3 sons, not a single one of them is ever going to grow up to be anything. So, AJ, I tried to prove him wrong. I really did. And, a lot of your listeners might be able to kind of relate to a story something like this. We all have challenging things in our background, things we have to overcome. We have our self-doubts, people that don't believe in us, a lot of times ourselves. So I tried. And this is where all that positive motivation comes in, AJ. I tried. I learned. I read all the books. I went to the seminars. I listened to everything I could. And I tried and I failed. And I tried and I failed. And I tried and I tried and I failed. And I failed. And I just couldn't fail anymore, AJ. I gave up. I walked into the bathroom. I looked at myself in the mirror. I guess she's right. You're never going to grow up to be anything. But something happened, AJ. Something happened. Something clicked inside of me. Suddenly, I went, wait a minute. No, I refuse to let that be right. For the sake of the memory of my dad, if nothing else, I refuse to let that son of a gun be right. Never grow up to be anything. And I got ticked off. And I got up and I brushed myself off and I got back at it again. Now, I still face the same challenges, the same setbacks and everything else as before. But now I did it, not just with something to go towards, some carrot, some positive visualization I never believed would happen to a guy like me. But now I had that stick, that thing to go away from, never grow up to be anything, that propelled me through those hard times. It pushed me out of my comfort zone. It got me out of there because that was more painful. And that's when I realized that you can utilize the power of both. For all those people out there that go, you can only think happy thoughts and the universe will go to work and make it happen. It's not true. It's not true. It's been proven time and time and again. It's not true. They also say you can't think negative thoughts. No, because they might happen. That's incorrect. Absolutely you can, because that'll give you the kick in the butt you need to get you through those tough times. And the oxcart technique was born.
Right, right, Terry. I will come to the oxcart technique and understand the oxcart technique blueprint of success. Before that, I want to understand a bit about. You gave the example of the grizzly bear. You talked about that people run towards, away from pain and not towards pleasure, and that's why they are not able to accomplish their goals. If I hope I have understood this correctly.
Yeah.
Now, right. You also say that it is human nature to run away from pain, to run away what makes them fearful, to run away and keep themselves safe. That's the way we survive. You are a survival reality show winner. You would know that. We'll come to that also. But then you also tell people to not face their fears. So it is obviously people will run away and they will run away from fear, or we can call it pain. Then isn't it a human response? How do we then calibrate our thought process, our goal setting against this very much thing that is very much human?
I love it. I love it. Let's talk about the don't face your fears. I'm really glad you brought that up. I love it because you're right. I teach people do not face your fears. Okay, what do I mean by that? Look past your fears. If you face your fears, they become bigger and they can become more powerful, but instead look past your fears at the goal. And the example I give, I might still have part of it here. I guess I don't on my desk anymore. Um, I'm a black belt in
Right,
martial arts. And when we're doing black belt board breaking, we don't focus on the board itself. We don't focus on that because if we do, that becomes bigger and that becomes more powerful. When I'm focusing on breaking a board, I don't focus there or my hand will stop right there and I'll hurt myself. That the board isn't our goal. Past the board is our goal. So when I'm doing board breaking, I'm not looking at this, I'm looking here, and that's what I go to. And when you do that, your pains, your self doubts, your fears, all of that just goes by the wayside and you break right through them. Another example I give, and everybody listening who's watching this will have an easier time understanding this, but even if you're listening to this, you can get it also. Take your thumb, and AJ, you can do this with me. Take your thumb, put it up in front of your face, put it between your eyes and me. Okay, perfect. There you go. Now, I want you to focus on your thumb right now. Focus on your thumb.
right,
Now, you can see your thumb big and bold, right?
right,
There you go. Now, keep focusing on your thumb. Now, I'm back in the background somewhere, but you don't really see me. What you see is that big old thumb right in front of your face, right?
right,
There you go. Okay, perfect. Now, what I want you to do, leave that thumb up there. You're doing great. I appreciate it. That's perfect. Now, leave your thumb right there, but focus past it and look at the screen. Look at me. Keep your thumb there. Look at me. You can see me now, right?
right,
But your thumb is still there. Do you notice your thumb so much?
right,
Not really, because now you're looking past your thumb, you're looking towards the goal, you're looking towards me. So when I say don't face your fears, that's what I'm talking about. Don't let them stop you, don't let them become too big. You can, as part of the oxcart technique, use them to help motivate you, though, because you're not stopping there. You're using that in a 3-page technique. And I'm going to go ahead and tell you the whole technique real quick right now. It's a condensed version. You're going to want to read the book. You're going to want to go to my website to learn the details. But here's what you do. The first page of a 3-page technique, and it's so simple, so easy, and so powerful, is you write down what I call your failure scenario. You write that on a piece of paper. How bad would it be if you don't reach your goal? This is the stick in the carrot and the stick. Where does this come from? The oxcart technique goes towards the carrot and away from the stick. There's a parable in the book. Now, you write down how bad it could be if you don't reach your goal. Now, I tell people, write it out. Don't just go, it'd be terrible. It'd be horrible. No, 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 no. Go into detail. When you read that, every fiber in your being should be going, no way, just like me, never grow up to be anything. There's no way I'm going to let that happen. I will do whatever it takes to make sure that doesn't happen. That doesn't come true. Whatever it takes. That's the next piece of paper. That's where, AJ, you write down your daily action plan. Because let's face it, whether you succeed or fail doesn't happen on one decision. The decision to succeed doesn't happen once. It happens every single day. In fact, several times a day by the actions you take or do not take. So your action plan, your bridge from failure to success, lines out the actions you will absolutely take that day to make sure your failure scenario never comes true. And that next piece of the paper does. Your success scenario, how amazing it's going to be when you do reach your goal, that positive visualization, that carrot, problem solution format. And AJ, I tell you what, if you read that out loud twice a day, start with the failure scenario, look past it to your daily action plan and to your success scenario, it's going to propel you like nothing else. How do I know? Because when I was looking in that mirror, knowing I'd never grow up to be anything, that was my failure scenario. And that made me emotional. And we act on emotion, not fact. And that made me get up and take those actions on my action plan so I could reach a success scenario. even though I never believed I'd be rich, that I'd have a huge house and a nice car or two. Never believed that. That didn't propel me. That did. I was able to reach that. When I taught this to other people, it helped them as well. It's helped save marriages when they applied it to marriages. It's helped people lose weight. It's even helped people get off addictions. Where traditional goal setting has fallen short, the oxcart technique has taken up the slack. It's that missing piece of the puzzle that's helped a lot of people. And I'm hoping it helps your listeners as well.
Absolutely, absolutely, Terry. Couple of questions here.
Sure,
Again,
sure.
you talked about looking past your fears. A lot of people have trauma in their life. A lot
Yeah.
of people say that because of those past traumas, you are facing problems like even in businesses, we have this imposter syndrome and so many others.
Yeah.
So they say, let's go back to the past and cure you of all those things that are there in your mind. Is in life, is looking beyond your past, your fears, can also mean that you are pushing the real problems under the carpet. Like,
Here's
so how do we look at those things? How do we look at the success part of it and not become evasive about things which are very much there? Problems that need to be solved first, and then you move on to the next stage. Second thing, because these are so interrelated, you talked about again to achieve it when you look beyond that fear, beyond the fear, and towards the success part of it. Many people again will look at it as as something called flights of fancy. You only dream, you
yeah.
only visualize, but you never get into action. And when you are doing action, you have to, it's like building brick by brick. So you got to solve a problem when there is a problem. Otherwise, the foundation will not be strong. Help us understand, looking at goal setting, looking at success, looking at getting something concrete for your life. How do we do that in this backdrop?
I love it. Thank you, AJ. I really appreciate those questions and that insight. Absolutely. The question is, are you going to wallow in that, or are you going to do something about it? Are you going to be conquered, or are you going to be the conqueror? Are you going to be the victim, or are you going to be victorious? And it's all about taking that pain and using it to propel you forward, not to hold you in the muck, not to be mired in the muck of mediocrity, but to propel you forward. We all have pain in our lives. I do. A lot of pain that I won't even talk about on the air, but I don't let that hold me back. I let it kick me in the butt. I let it propel me. I'm not going to stay there. I'm going to let it fuel the fire within me. And every single person listening on can do the exact same thing. Decide to be victorious and take the actions to do it. It's easy to write down. It's easy to find out, okay, how do I get out of this situation? We know the steps to success in business. Those are easy to find. You can find people to train you to do them. We can find out what it takes for a happy marriage. Ask your spouse and then do them. We know what it takes to lose weight. The challenge has always been sticking to that plan, having the long-term motivation to do so. And when you let that failure scenario, the potential future, propel you forward, there's no way I'm going to let that happen, and towards your success scenario, then you can actually do it. And again, I'm living proof, man. I've been in the pain. I've had a lot of things that have hurt me, and I let them propel me forward.
Right, right, Terry. Now let's come to the oxcart technique. You have spoken about it. Oxcart technique, blueprint of success. From a very common person's perspective, how should they understand this technique? How would you explain this technique? What are the things in simple terms they can do, either in terms of goal setting, either in terms of success? How should they look at this part of your life, either in life or in business?
You betcha, AJ. Absolutely. For one thing, there's a lot of things to help you out on terryelfossum.com. Go over there, check it out. A lot of free stuff on there, free motivation. Follow me on all the social media. I've got a YouTube channel I'm kicking off. A lot of good stuff that'll help you. Free stuff that'll help you out right there. Bottom line for you is going to be those 3 pieces of paper. But go to my website because there's some details that'll help you out there. And again, there's stuff on there for free that'll show you how to, okay, write out that failure scenario. And it's easy to do a simple form of it right now. If you take a look at, I'll give you another example. Here's a fun example for you. Now, on my marriage oxcart technique, I could take a look at my success scenario, and I do. I love my wife. I'm madly in love with my wife, and I want to spend the rest of my days with her. She is an amazing person. And just being with her makes me so happy. And I want to spend the rest of my life. I want to be with our grandkids together. That's why I'm going to do all the smart things. But AJ, you know what else propels me? I'm married an attorney. And if I screw up, she could sue me for everything I've got. I say that, I say that jokingly, kind of. But the truth is, that can be on my failure scenario. But even worse to me personally, on that failure scenario, and I've got my marriage oxcart technique. I love the way she looks at me when she's happy, when she's deeply in love. I have written on my failure scenario, and I'm picturing it right now. And it's hurting me right now. That's why it's so powerful. Her looking at me with that sorrow in her eyes, that hurt in her eyes, and it tears me apart just thinking of that. And because I have that on my failure scenario and I read that out loud, I go, there's no way in the world I'm going to let that happen. So, AJ, I've got written on my action plan the daily things to keep her happy, to keep our relationship going. Things like communicate both ways, treat her with love and respect, do nice things for her. Just those things. How do I know what things will keep her happy? Ask her. Ask her. Ask your spouse. What makes them happy? What I think may not be it. So I put that. And then my success scenario. Like I started by saying, the rest of our lives together, go travel together, all the neat things. Important thing though, you got to put emotion into it. Again, emotion, not fact, is the driver of all action. Again, emotion, not fact, is the driver of all action. If you write down just facts in there, ain't going to work. Put emotion, man. Make it hurt, make it feel amazing, and it'll make you take those actions every single day.
Right, right, Terry. You have been a very successful person in so many aspects of your life. You also know about survival. You have won this survival reality show.
Yeah.
In life, success and survival, a lot of people are just surviving in whatever situation they are in. How should they look at this part of their lives? Should they focus on success and survival at the same time? Or should they look at survival and then success? How many people succeed and then they work, hard to survive because of whatever good or bad happens in their lives. So, how should one look at success? How should one look at survival? Can they be looked at the same time, or they have to look at it separately?
Absolutely at the same time, without question. Because if you're just focused on survival, that's all you're going to do is survive. At no point, and I've been in some harsh conditions out there, but at no point was I just huddled down and hoping I make it through the night. No way, man. No way. Get out there and make it happen. Don't just, in fact, it's funny you say that. One of the things that drives me crazy is when I hear people go, well, I'm a survivor. Well, that's great. But with that same energy, you could be a thriver. You could go out there and do amazing things. Stop getting wallowed down in the muck of mediocrity once again. Get out there and make it happen. You can absolutely do it. I was having this discussion just earlier today. I firmly believe in my mind that pretty much everybody with any mental capacity, so I'll say that because I work with developmentally disabled a lot as well, but pretty much anybody with a mind, no matter your background, no matter your circumstances, I don't care what they are, you can succeed. You can do amazing things, whatever that means for you. So even if you're sitting there going, well, Terry, you don't understand. I'm poor. I have no opportunities. I've been beaten. I've had horrible things happen to me. Horrible things, sexual things, whatever it might be. From my own family. I wear bags for clothing, AJ, you know who I just described? Oprah Winfrey, a multi-billionaire. It doesn't matter where you come from. It's where you decide to go to. Every single person listening on here, every single person you know, you can do it. Listen to me. You can do it. Absolutely. Decide to do it. Figure out what the steps are. I'll recommend the oxcart technique and do it.
Right, 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 Terry. There is much to learn about life, about success, about resolutions, about goal setting, and also about surviving. So, and who better than they learn directly from you? So, for those people who want to learn more about you, more about oxcart technique, what is the best way for them to do so?
Yeah, you bet. Thanks, AJ. TerryLFossum.com. Come on over to my website. You can get on my email list for free and get motivation sent right to you. I do have a coaching program that is fantastic. So it's not just read about the coaching or about the oxcart technique, which you can do in my book, available on Amazon and a lot of other places. Absolutely. And it's helped a lot of people. But you can also get coaching directly from me all the way through it. You'll be talking to me personally. You can learn more about that on the website also. Follow me on all social media. And then if any of this has helped you or anything I've got to help you, reach out. Reach out. Or if you have any other questions, reach out to me. I'm easy to find.
Absolutely, absolutely. With this, it's a wrap on this very special edition of the KAJ Masterclass Live. Thank you so much indeed for joining us.
Thank you, AJ. I really appreciate it. Everybody out there, you got this. Go get them.